All right, what is going on, guys? It is stage number 9 of the 2025 Dakar Rally, and this is the stage preview. So we're going to be talking a little bit about today's day and what these guys are going to be up to. It is currently 4:23 p.m. as I am recording this. That means it is 3:23 a.m. over in Saudi Arabia. So winding down the clock, we're just over 1,100 miles left for these guys to get to the finish line and call this Dakar a wrap. But there is still a long way to go. Obviously, 1,100 miles, not a walk in the park. And today's stage, definitely not going to be a walk in the park. So let's start from the top. We'll give you guys an idea. Graphic is on the screen. Riyadh to Harad is where we're headed. 112 kilometers in road section A. That is the liaison A. That is the commute to work. And then they're going to have a 357 kilometers special stage, followed by a 120-mile commute, or 120-kilometer, commute back to the bivouac. So they are traveling away. They're traveling to another bivouac. Very, very long day for these guys. First bike's going to be departing the bivouac at 4:55 a.m., which is going to put that at 5:55 p.m. here on the Pacific Coast. Cars and trucks, 7:10 a.m., meaning 8:10 p.m. here again on the West Coast. And then the first bike is supposed to leave the starting line at 7 a.m. Saudi time, putting that 8 p.m. here in the States on the Pacific Coast. Cars and trucks, 9:15 a.m. start for them. And we should see that first one at 10:15. So if you're following the tracking, 10:15 and thereafter is about when 10:15 p.m. is about when the live tracking is going to start up. So they do hold that until the last vehicle, or until the vehicles have left the starting line, and there's no way for the teams to communicate any kind of some info. So that is your starting times. Let's take a look at the map and what these guys are up against today. 90% dirt track, 3% sand, and dunes is at 0%, with 7% of that being stone track. So a little bit of a mix. It sounds like it's going to be a fast stage, but let's see what the organization has to say about it. So from the general description, you'll see that on your screen right now if you guys are watching on YouTube or on Spotify podcasts. DSS to CP1. So CP1 is going to be located at kilometer 80. So 80 kilometers in, 8 times 6, that math, is all alternating tracks and fast off-piste. So in and out of tracks, and then you're going to be off-piste. So off-piste means you're cutting road. You're making the trail. It is not a marked trail. You just got a cap heading and you're headed out, basically just cutting the desert. So from there, that is to kilometer 80. From kilometer 80, or CP1, to kilometer 180, they're saying as fast tracks. Kilometer 180 to 192 going to be bad tracks. Now, bad is a relative term. If we think about bad tracks in Baja, that's one thing. In San Felipe, that's another thing. In south of southern part of the peninsula in Baja, bad tracks is a whole nother thing. So it's in the eye of the beholder, and whoever wrote this general description that you guys are looking at on the screen, we'll see how it breaks down. But just, I mean, the gist of this is looking like it's going to be a fast, rough day for these guys, even though it's still going to be a long day. Kilometer 192 to 269, fast tracks and even faster tracks. Fast and very fast tracks for that section there. Then they're looking at K69, kilometer 69 to kilometer 295, stony, undulating tracks, bad in canyons. So it sounds like these guys are going into, if you guys are familiar with Baja racing, going into like Matomi or one of those washes in the back. And we'll see. They can get, I know that they could get pretty gnarly. So I don't know if it's a section that's ran through with cars, if they've had water through there. There was some rain in the region a couple of days ago. I don't know if it extended all the way down into this area. So with lots of rain and flash flooding, that kind of thing, with a quick downpour, you can all of a sudden basically erase an entire track. So we'll see how that goes. Some virgin washes, I'm sure, would be great for the bikes. Might make navigation a little bit trickier because there wouldn't be any kind of tracks at all to follow. But if you're on point with your navigation, that'll just make it a little bit faster for you. All right, so that is case 269 through 295. And then from 295 to the arrive selective section, alternating fast tracks and sometimes more technical tracks for driving. I'm going to interpret that as 2-track and fast and fun tracks for driving. I don't know. we'll see how that one shakes down, but we'll go back. We'll switch to the map here so you guys can see it. I mean, it looks like a ride at Disneyland, but I don't know. Assistance looks like their first fuel at the start, and then they're going to have helo, that not important there. Kilometer 217 is where they're going to have a neutralization. They'll be able to take on fuel for both the bikes and the cars. And then after 217, they'll get gas again at kilometer 357, which is the Arrive Special stage, or the ASS, selective section. So not a bad day. Let's take a look. They've got the vigilance points. They give them some warnings. Let's go back up here. I want to see what the stage timing is. Let's talk a little bit about that. So stage timing kind of gives an idea of when they're expecting the first bikes in certain locations. So right now they're expecting the first bike through the finish line at 10:38 a.m. That is a fast stage. So they're going to be leaving at 7 a.m. and they're expecting the first bike at 10:38 a.m. So we're looking at 3 hours and 38 minutes or so is what they're giving them. That is definitely going to be a fast stage. So 3 hours, 38 minutes. Let me look at the mileage here so you guys get an idea. For stage number 5, that is a 365 mile stage, and they're giving them 3.5 hours to finish. That is fast, 60 mile an hour average-ish. So I don't know that you get to see that in Baja. I think they're closer to like the 40s. So this promises to be a fast stage. They are limited to 160 kilometers per hour. I haven't heard much talk about that this year. I don't know if they've lifted it quietly or not doing it at all, or it's just kind of one of those things that, well, you know, it is what it is, and they're just doing it, and nobody really talks about it anymore because it is what it is. I don't know. So 160 kilometers an hour is what they were limited to. Again, this was stuff that the organization was working on to try and slow down the pace of the riders. They introduced that. They introduced double notes, along with the year before that they had introduced a rule where everybody was only allowed a certain number of tires, similar to Malamoto. So yeah, it got pretty interesting pretty fast. So first vehicle, they're expecting to leave the start line at 9:10 in the morning, and they are expecting it to get to the finish line at noon, 12:23 p.m. So same, faster, a little bit, maybe a little bit slower, closer to about 4 hours for them. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a fast stage. What do you guys think? Looking at the map, looking at the breakdown, looking at the time that they're thinking for the first bikes to finish, I don't know. What do we think? Are we going to see another Daniel Sanders show? Or are we going to see something else? Let me see if we can find the starting order really quick for you guys here. Starting lists and stage 9 amended. So Luciano Benavides, stage winner for stage 8, going to get a chance to lead the group out. Adrian Van Beveren, second off the line. Tasha Sharena in the number 3 spot off the line. Ricky Brabeck, 4th. Skylar Howes, 5th. Michael Doherty in that 6th spot. Daniel Sanders in the 7th spot. Yeah, Chucky got a good spot. Just saying. So how much of that is sandbagging? How much of that is doing what he's got to do to make it happen? I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, it's kind of weird, right? Everybody thinks that I shouldn't say everybody. There's a couple of thoughts there, right? They've been complaining about GPS not working, not getting signal, getting lost, the road book not working. And then you've got these, I would say, favorable start positions. Chucky, Daniel Sanders, does have a little bit of room to play with, about 11 minutes in the overall currently. So depending on what he can do and put together on this stage, that could help further that lead. I don't know. I don't know that he is going to be in a hurry to put up a stage win. I don't know that setting records, which would now be 6 wins for him. I don't know if that's a priority, because obviously the main thing, that these guys want is they're competing for that top step on the podium. So I could see that this starting position is very favorable for him on that. It does give some room for Tasha and Ricky and Skylar to kind of get a little bit of time, maybe edge out a little bit of time there, maybe pick up some bonus time early on in the stage. It could help their chances. You know, they want to kind of keep Daniel Sanders away from that bonus time because that's only going to help make his case a little bit better. He's already started in a favorable position by being 7th off the line. So we'll see there. In the number 8 spot, Edgar Canet leading out. And then you've got Nacho Cornejo in the number 9 spot. And then Tony Mullick in the number 10. So, yeah, we'll see. We got a couple hours to go before these guys get started. But that is the stage preview for these guys and what they're going to be up to. What do you guys think? What's the prediction for this stage? Russ, I'm with you. Maybe it is a little bit early. 1,100 miles to go from the last comment on the video. Thank you. And yeah, I don't know. I think the trophy's going to Australia. Just gonna say, but you never know. You never know. All it takes is one off. Pablo Quintanilla figured that out on this last stage, unfortunately, and Ross Branch and Bradley Cox. Bradley Cox, I saw that video, and I mean, I think initially they had said it was 100 meters. I don't even think it was 100 meters off the line where his off happened. So I'll share that on the Chasing Waypoints Instagram if you guys want to check out the video. Somebody, I think he made the video. At first, I was in shock that somebody would do what they did, but you can find it on my Instagram if you guys want to see that one. But with that being said, predictions down below. Let's see what happens. And don't forget, it'll make sense when you get there. Enjoy the ride.